My name is Cassandra Wright. I'm 40 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my family faked my sister's illness for 20 years, what I went through because of it, and what happened when I finally found the proof. I was 15 years old when my sister, Emily, got sick.
She was 13.
She was always the favorite. She was always the one my parents loved more.
But then she got sick.
She had a rare disease. She needed constant care. She needed constant attention. She needed everything. My parents gave her everything. They gave her attention. They gave her money. They gave her love. They gave her everything I never had. I was invisible. I was ignored. I was forgotten. I was the one who didn't matter. I didn't complain. I didn't argue. I just accepted it. That was the way it was. That was the way it had always been. My mother said, "Cassandra, your sister is sick. She needs more attention. She needs more care. She needs more love. You need to understand that." My father said, "Cassandra, you're the strong one. You're the one who can handle things. Your sister is fragile. She needs us." I said, "Dad, I need you too. I need you to see me. I need you to love me. I need you to care about me." He said, "Cassandra, you're being selfish. Your sister is sick. She needs everything. You need to be more understanding." For 20 years, I was invisible. For 20 years, I was ignored.
For 20 years, I was forgotten.
My parents gave everything to Emily. They gave her attention. They gave her money. They gave her love. They gave her everything. I got nothing. I got no attention. I got no money. I got no love. I got nothing. I graduated high school. My parents didn't come. They were too busy with Emily. They were too busy taking care of her. I graduated college. My parents didn't come. They were too busy with Emily. They were too busy taking care of her. I got married. My parents didn't come. They were too busy with Emily. They were too busy taking care of her. I had children. My parents didn't visit. They were too busy with Emily. They were too busy taking care of her. I called my mother once. I said, "Mom, I need you. I need you to be there for me. I need you to care about me." She said, "Cassandra, I don't have time for this. Your sister is sick. She needs everything. You need to understand that." I said, "Mom, I've been understanding for 20 years. I've been invisible for 20 years. I've been ignored for 20 years. I can't do it anymore." She said, "Cassandra, you're being dramatic. You're just like your father. You always make everything about yourself." I was 35 years old when I started to suspect something. I started to suspect that Emily wasn't really sick. I started to suspect that my parents were lying. I noticed things. I noticed that Emily was always getting better when she wanted something. I noticed that Emily was always getting worse when she wasn't getting attention. I noticed that Emily was always getting sick when my parents weren't paying attention to her. I noticed that Emily went to 15 different doctors in 20 years. I noticed that she never stuck with one doctor. I noticed that she was always looking for a new one. I noticed that my mother was always the one who took her to the appointments. I noticed that my father was always the one who paid for everything. I noticed that they never questioned anything. I started to ask questions. I said, "Mom, what exactly is wrong with Emily? What disease does she have?" My mother said, "Cassandra, she has a rare disease. It's complicated. You wouldn't understand." I said, "Mom, I'm an adult. I can understand. Just tell me what it is." She said, "Cassandra, it's a medical condition. It's private. It's between Emily and the doctors. You don't need to know." I started to investigate. I started to look for proof. I started to look for evidence. I went to the hospitals. I went to the clinics. I went to the doctor's offices. I asked questions. I found answers. I found out that Emily had been to 20 different doctors in 20 years. I found out that she had never been diagnosed with anything. I found out that she had never had any real treatment. I found out that she had never been sick. I found out that my mother had been making it up. She had been faking Emily's illness. She had been creating symptoms. She had been lying to everyone. I was shocked. I was hurt. I was angry. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my own mother had been lying for 20 years. I was 36 years old when I met Dr. Thompson. He was a doctor who had treated Emily 10 years earlier. He was 70 years old. He was retired. He had been a doctor for 40 years. He said, "Cassandra, I know you. I remember you. I remember your sister. I remember everything." I said, "Dr. Thompson, I need to ask you something. Was Emily ever really sick? Was she ever really ill?" He said, "Cassandra, I've been waiting for you to ask that question. I've been waiting for 10 years. He reached into his drawer. He pulled out a file.
It was thick.
It was full of papers. It was full of everything. He said, "Cassandra, I have a file on your sister. I have a file on your mother. I have a file on everything. I've been keeping it for 10 years. I wanted someone to know the truth." I opened the file. I started reading. I couldn't stop. The file was thick. It was full of papers. It was full of everything. Emily Wright, age 15. Brought in by mother. Mother reports symptoms: fatigue, headaches, dizziness. Examination shows no evidence of illness. No diagnosis. Mother is told to bring daughter back if symptoms persist. Emily Wright, age 17. Brought in by mother. Mother reports symptoms: stomach pain, nausea, fever. Examination shows no evidence of illness. No diagnosis. Mother is told to bring daughter back if symptoms persist. Emily Wright, age 19. Brought in by mother. Mother reports symptoms: joint pain, swelling, inflammation. Examination shows no evidence of illness. No diagnosis. Mother is told to bring daughter back if symptoms persist. Emily Wright, age 22. Brought in by mother. Mother reports symptoms: chest pain, shortness of breath, palpitations. Examination shows no evidence of illness. No diagnosis. Mother is told to bring daughter back if symptoms persist. Emily Wright, age 25. Brought in by mother. Mother reports symptoms: vision problems, hearing loss, neurological symptoms. Examination shows no evidence of illness. No diagnosis. Mother is told to bring daughter back if symptoms persist. Dr. Thompson notes, "I have seen this pattern before. The mother is creating symptoms. She is making up illnesses. She is using her daughter as a way to get attention. This is a form of medical abuse. I am documenting this. I am keeping a file. I am going to make sure someone knows the truth." I read the entire file. I cried. I couldn't stop crying. I realized everything. My sister was never sick. My mother made it up. She created an illness to get attention. She used my sister to get what she wanted. I called Dr. Thompson. I said, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me what was happening?" He said, "I didn't know how. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't think you were ready. But I think now you are." I said, "Dr. Thompson, thank you. Thank you for keeping the file. Thank you for telling me the truth." He said, "Cassandra, you have proof now. You can use it. You can show it to everyone. You can finally get justice." I went to my sister's house. She was living in a big house. She had a new car. She had everything. She was surprised to see me. She said, "Cassandra, what are you doing here? You didn't call." I said, "Emily, we need to talk." I placed the file on the table. I said, "Emily, do you know what this is?" She said, "What is this?" I said, "This is a file from Dr. Thompson. It's a file on you. It's a file on everything Mom did to you." I started reading from the file. I read about the fake symptoms. I read about the fake illnesses. I read about the fake everything. My sister started to cry. She said, "Cassandra, I didn't know. I didn't know what she was doing. I just thought I was sick. I just thought I was ill. I didn't know she was making it up." I said, "Emily, how could you not know? How could you not realize what was happening?" She said, "Cassandra, I was a child. I trusted her. She was my mother. I believed everything she told me. I didn't know she was lying." I said, "Emily, you were a child, but you grew up. You became an adult. You had 20 years to figure it out. Why didn't you? She said. Cassandra, I was scared. I was confused. I didn't know how to tell anyone. I didn't know how to ask for help. I was trapped. I went to my mother's house. She was living in a small apartment. She had nothing. My mother was sitting on the couch. She was old. She was tired. She was alone. I said, Mom, we need to talk. I placed the file on the table. I said, Mom, do you know what this is?
She looked at it.
She said, What is this? I said, This is a file from Dr. Thompson. It's a file on Emily. It's a file on everything you did. I started reading from the file. I read about the fake symptoms. I read about the fake illnesses. I read about the fake everything. My mother started to cry. She said, Cassandra, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to protect my family. I said, Mom, you didn't protect anyone. You destroyed everyone. You destroyed Emily. You destroyed Dad.
You destroyed me.
You destroyed everything. She said, Cassandra, I know I made mistakes. I know I was wrong. I know I should have been better. But I was afraid. I was afraid of losing attention. I was afraid of losing control. I was afraid of losing everything. I said, Mom, you lost everything. You lost your family. You lost your children. You lost everything. And it's your fault. It's all your fault. I went to my father's house. He was living in a small apartment. He was alone. He was sitting in his chair. He looked old. He looked tired. He looked defeated. I said, Dad, we need to talk. I placed the file on the table. I said, Dad, do you know what this is? He said, What is this? I said, This is a file from Dr. Thompson. It's a file on Emily. It's a file on everything Mom did. I started reading from the file. I read about the fake symptoms. I read about the fake illnesses. I read about the fake everything. My father started to cry. He said, Cassandra, I didn't know. I didn't know what she was doing. I just thought Emily was sick. I just thought she needed help. I said, Dad, how could you not know? How could you not see what was happening? He said, Cassandra, I was blind. I was trusting. I believed everything your mother told me. I didn't question anything. I just accepted everything. I said, Dad, you were supposed to protect us. You were supposed to be there for us. You were supposed to help us. But you didn't. You just stood by. You just watched. You just did nothing. He said, Cassandra, I'm sorry. I know I made mistakes. I know I was wrong. I know I should have been better. But I was afraid. I was afraid of your mother. I was afraid of what she would do. I didn't talk to my mother for 3 years. I didn't call her. I didn't visit her. I didn't want to see her. My mother called me once. She said, Cassandra, it's Christmas. I want you to come home. I want to spend holidays together. I said, Mom, I don't have a home. I haven't had a home since you destroyed everything. I'm never coming back. She said, Cassandra, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking the family. You need to come home. I said, Mom, you broke my heart. You broke it when you faked Emily's illness. You broke it when you gave her everything. You broke it when you ignored me. You broke it when you didn't care. And I'm never coming back. I started to heal. I started to let go. I started to move on. I went to therapy. I talked to someone. I worked through my pain. I worked through my anger. I worked through everything. I learned to forgive. I learned to let go. I learned to move on. I found peace. I found happiness. I found love. I never went back to my family. I never saw them again. I never wanted to. I built a new family. I built a new life. I built a new home. If you've ever been invisible to your own family, I want you to hear something. You didn't deserve what happened to you. You didn't deserve to be ignored. You didn't deserve to be forgotten. You didn't deserve to be invisible. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard.
You deserve to be believed.
You deserve to be loved. My name is Cassandra Wright. I'm 40 years old. I was invisible to my family for 20 years. And I'm still standing. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.